The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRCMedia, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
This week on FRCmedia News, Mayor Paul Coogan delivers his 2024 State of the City address. Dozens turn out in opposition to proposed changes at Tansey Elementary School, and local elected and social service leaders take a pledge against domestic violence. All this and more coming up. It's Thursday, March 14th, 2024. This is FRCmedia News. I'm Keith Tebow. Fall River Mayor Paul Coogan this week delivered his 5th State of the City address before a joint meeting of the City Council and School Committee. The mayor noted that the state of Fall River is strong, pointing out that investments by the public and private sectors have resulted in the city having a strong financial position.
As many of you in this room know, there's a new buzz surrounding Fall River. Over the last several years, we have experienced unprecedented growth and renewed interest in our community. The change is visible, with major residential and commercial infrastructure projects going on across the city. Fall River is recognized for its potential, and it has been my honor to serve as mayor during this important time in our history. We have seen our rainy day funds grow from $10 million when I took office in 2020 to $26 million today. That is an increase of over $15 million. Our Moody credit rating is at A3 stable. The word stable designates a positive change that reflects our improved financial health. We know that the cost of living has been steadily climbing in Fall River as it has across the country. And it is my promise to taxpayers that my administration will continue to do all we can to reduce the burden on them.
The mayor said the city is making headway in increasing its housing stock.
Our new growth numbers have remained positive. There are well over 1,000 residential units under construction or in the permitting process. Revenue from building permits to date is over $690,000, which puts us on target to surpass last year's numbers. For years, the city has been faced with many abandoned mill buildings and other properties that are public safety hazards. These buildings, like the mills on Howe Street, Alden Street, Chase Street, are now being converted into beautiful new residential units. In addition, the Community Development Agency has continued their efforts to add up to affordable housing stock with 54 units that have recently come online. These projects will continue with private investment to grow our workforce housing stock. Our economic growth is due in large part to an increased interest and investment from developers, both locally and statewide.
The mayor added that city businesses have invested, adding new tax dollars into the city while creating dozens of new jobs. The city has also benefited from an infusion of federal and state money reinvested in many infrastructure projects.
To meet the needs of our growing community, we must continue to maintain and invest in infrastructure projects. To that end, we have received in the past 5 years almost $70 million in alternative funding from grants, principal reductions on loan, or state and federal earmarks, resulting in funds our ratepayers do not need to pay back. We have moved into our new water maintenance facility on Bedford Street and have completed the Wilson Road drinking water and wastewater station. Plus, we have completed the replacement of 481 lead service lines last year, with an additional 600 planned for this year. Approximately 18,000 square feet of water mains have been replaced, and also including at the same time we're reconstructing the streets and the sidewalks. For 2024, my administration has committed $3.9 million for road reconstruction projects and $624,000 to complete sidewalk replacements. We have also committed $2.5 million of ARPA money in funding to transform Oak Grove Avenue and Jefferson Street, two streets in need of much repair. Also, with ARPA funding, we have added street sweepers, a graffiti removal machine, and infrared hot boxes to repair potholes and trenches in our roads.
The mayor also used time to provide updates on improvements to public safety.
I am pleased to say that the Fall River Police Department received their 5th award for national accreditation in November of '23. In reviewing the crime data for '22 and '23, crime has gone down by 23.6%. The FRPD have added 51 new officers to their ranks since 2021, and in order to assist with their recruitment, the city in '23 began to offer an incentive to cover the cost of training and equipment for our recruits. And the FRPD has seen the full implementation of body-worn cameras. This initiative has resulted in a number of complaints being filed against our officers and the department by 50% since 2022. Our fire department, like our police department, also has a new chief. And thanks to ARPA and CDA funding, we've been able to purchase a new command vehicle, a new forestry firefighting truck, which will be utilized to fight brush and wildland fires in and around the city, while 2 new apparatus, a pump and a ladder, are in order. Upgrades to firehouses have also been made, and we've renovated some old backup pieces also. The Emergency Medical Services has upgraded all ambulances with state-of-the-art cardiac monitors. They have also started an accredited EMT school to engage our residents interested in public safety and medicine. EMS community medicine team has collaborated with our school department to create a vaccination program for students, the first of its kind in the state. This program has allowed enrolled students to be able to start school at a much quicker timeline than in the past.
Mayor Coogan singled out the collaboration between public safety officials and local social service organizations, increasing the impact on finding services for the homeless and reducing the instances of overdoses. He also said since the end of the pandemic, Fall River school enrollment and achievement scores are up.
Today, our enrollment is at 11,000 students, an increase of over 1,000 students since 2021. While other districts are losing students, Fall River continues to grow. I am happy to report on the progress in our schools, which is all made possible by the hard work and commitment of the staff of the Fall River Public Schools, and we are seeing it every day. We have a 12% decrease in our chronic absenteeism rates. We now have a 91% teacher retention rate. We have added 609 pre-K seats for the 23-24 school year, and 64 positions have been added over the last 4 years to support the growing social and emotional needs of our students. The PACE Center is offering classes to parents of ESL. And our Family Academy series is fostering relationships between families and schools across the district. I'm especially pleased to announce that Durfee's Early College program has successfully helped students earn over 2,000 college credits from our 3 partners at Bridgewater State University, UMass Dartmouth, and Bristol Community College.
Looking ahead, the mayor is excited about the opportunities becoming available when South Coast Rail launches this summer and the state completes the reconstruction of Route 79. He's also looking forward to activities on the waterfront for city residents this summer. The mayor closed his remarks by pointing out the obstacles that the city still faces.
The city of Fall River, like many other communities, still faces a whole host of serious challenges, like identifying funding for the new diamond, combating homelessness, creating more affordable housing, and addressing the potential sale of our only for-profit hospital, St. Anne's. These are a few of my administration's priority matters, but most of these challenges are not unique to our community. We will continue to look for the best practices in other municipalities, and we will continue to collaborate with our federal, state, county, and local government officials to find solutions. As we go forward, I once again promise that I will continue to work hard, act out of my deep love for the city, and commit my administration to integrity and transparency. I will continue to turn to our tremendous leaders like the people in this room for their guidance and support. I am truly honored to lead the city of Fall River, and I thank you for your relentless faith in my leadership.
A proposal to repurpose the James Tansey Elementary School into a pre-K early learning center brought out dozens in opposition at this week's Fall River School Committee meeting held at Durfee High School. The idea for the change at Tansey came as part of a proposal seeking existing space within the district to host expanded pre-K learning opportunities. The school committee took no action on the Tansey proposal and another plan that called for the transfer of services of the Stone Therapeutic School from the current Westall School to a space at 2501 South Main Street, which once housed the Atlantis Charter School. The message from those who commented on preserving Tansey focused on how the school provides a safe environment for students. Parent Jennifer Santos has a second grader at Tansey. She said the school committee and administration are being non-responsive to the needs of the Tansey community.
Tansey is the highest performing elementary school in the city of Fall River. Tansey has been recognized by the state for their success in meeting the needs of our city's diverse population and their needed resources. Once again, the city of Fall River is not communicating with its citizens and informing them of this situation. This is an impulsive decision that our school committee officials have not thought through thoroughly. This decision will drastically impact the entire city district, including students, teachers, parents, and require additional resources. Let's step back and listen to the experts and their data as to how your decision can become detrimental to so many innocent children's lives. Our city already has so many children who come from dysfunctional environments. Their safety net, hope, and mode of survival is when they attend school. School is where they feel safe, can get a few meals with snacks, build relationships with other children, and teachers who truly care about their well-being, and they are able to obtain resources to survive. Stop making this about monetary value. Start this by valuing our children's innocence and their education. They are our future.
Fall River Public School teacher Rachel Lee told the committee that the movement of current Tansey students to other schools will disrupt their ability to succeed in the classroom.
My colleagues and I all agree that this city needs to provide early education for all. Our issue today is that your plan is trading the well-being of the current Tansey students, families, and staff for another. I ask you, have you done your due diligence in this process? Have you planned for all the disruption that this will cause for families at Tansey and other elementary schools? Have you thought about class size, SEL needs, teacher retention? You owe it to the citizens of this city to be mindful of all the delicate moving pieces that come into play when creating a school community. The lack of genuine stakeholder collaboration, meaningful community engagement, and transparency in this matter is unacceptable and unfair to the Tansey community, to the early education community, and to all other impacted schools.
Michaela Gonzalez was a Tansey student from kindergarten to grade 3 before transferring to the Frank Sylvia School. She said the impacts of transitioning to a larger school should not be overlooked.
Based on my experience, I have attended both a large elementary school and a small elementary school. Now I have no bad things to say about Sylvia, and I thrived there as a student and socially, but the adjustment from a small school to a large school was very difficult. The Tansey community is very family-oriented, and everyone knows everyone. However, at Sylvia, it was extremely different, and quite frankly, the complete opposite. Although I was able to make the adjustment, I know many students will struggle too. Nothing compares to the Tansey environment. I am the oldest of 3, and we have all attended Tansey Elementary School, where we have all thrived. My youngest sister, Bella May, is currently enrolled there in kindergarten, and she loves it. There are amazing teachers who helped me develop into the student I am today. I'm sure for them it would also be devastating to leave the school where they have met so many students and made a difference in their lives. And I would love for my sister to have the opportunity to experience the education I did.
School committee member Thomas Corey said even though growth of the city's pre-K program is a priority for the district, it will not impact other learning opportunities for city students.
I was never intending to vote to close Tansey School, but only never. But I will not support that, but we were just at a subcommittee meeting where our central administrators are being pressed to come up with plans. So at the subcommittee meeting, we're just thinking out of the box without any confirmations. And there was no intention to hurt people's feelings. I was very moved by the testimony I heard tonight from all of you. And I was especially, I took note of many of them, especially the one where I believe Mr. Medeiros said, there's no rush to action here. We can take our time and really vet our options. And you can bet that it won't be done in a closed door, that we will be fully transparent with the community throughout the entire city.
The Fall River Addiction Support and Treatment, or FAST Response Team, recently completed its yearly point-in-time count of the city's homeless population. FAST Team Coordinator Nikki Fontaine says this year's count was the most extensive in years, lasting 10 days from the end of January through early February. She says the count of those homeless this year is 145 individuals, up from 104 last year.
We map out the whole city. We have multiple organizations involved, South Coast, Habit Opco, Star, Stepping Stone, a bunch of people, and we all come together and really make sure that we got every area covered, and we're not just going there once. We're going there multiple times throughout that 7 to 10 day span. We're looking for people living in vehicles in areas that we know. The schools get on board. Different places have really pitched in. We all know life is expensive right now, rents, even just the cost of food. So we do have a good portion of people outside right now that have never been homeless in their lives. They're not using substances. Maybe there's some mental health issues, but very minimal, you know. So we're seeing that a lot. We've seen a lot of homeless families this year and like end of last year with children living in cars.
Ms. Fontaine says over the last year, the FAST Response Team has placed over 100 individuals into housing or drug or mental health treatment facilities. Along with a more detailed count, the team also employs the use of software program Gelada, which tracks those who are homeless and allows for easier follow-up.
Whenever we enter something, the coach on scene can see it. If he encounters them at Stop and Shop, he can write it right in there, see what was last done for him and what still needs to be done. And it's going to be a continuum of care. We've got paperwork over to the hospitals to have an MOA so that, you know, these people are having to give their story 100 times over to 50 different places. So we're hoping to minimize that, have more respect and dignity for their story and what they're going through, and also offer way better services as a collaboration.
The city is still looking to reduce the number of homeless encampments across Fall River. The larger encampments remain at the Quikasham River Rail Trail, at the bottom of Middle Street at Bay Street, and at Brayton Avenue. Those currently in shelters are not included in the point-in-time count. At the end of the month, the number of beds will be reduced from 50 to 30 at the First Step Inn at Stepping Stone Incorporated and from 30 to 0 at the Tomeo Center on Bay Street.
The count happens in the middle of winter when both overflow shelters are in place, because First Step In normally goes down to 20 beds. The mayor was able to keep them at 30 this year for the first time, so they'll be decreasing from 50 to 30, and Tomeo Center will be closing. So that means we have at least 60 more people to add to that number that are now going to be homeless at the end of this month if they don't get placed. You know, they do try to give them options, but if there isn't options, then, you know, a lot of them end up back. And as soon as the warm weather hits, they don't mind being back out for some. We really need transitional housing to move these people along. Some people in the shelter have been in there 18 months, 16 months. You know, so we need a second step for them to let the next group come in.
The biggest obstacle facing the FAST Response Team remains the unwillingness of those who are homeless to seek help. But Ms. Fontaine says persistence often pays off.
There's nothing much we can do in that moment except build the rapport with them, you know, because if they don't trust us, they're not going to let us help them when they're ready. So what we do, and it happens a lot, right? We'll go out there 10 times before someone says they even want a business card from us, you know. But eventually, we've been doing this for a couple of years now, and everyone pretty much knows who we are. They'll ask us for anything they need, you know, and the help everyone's talking about is shelter or an apartment. That's what everyone wants to see us give them. But first, we can't just throw them in an apartment if they're still actively using. They're going to lose it. We can't just throw them in an apartment if they have schizophrenia and they can't support themselves, you know. So there is a lot of steps that we take before placing someone in an apartment.
As noted in Mayor Coogan's State of the City address, the fast response team is having a positive impact on reducing the number of overdoses in Fall River. In 2016, the city ranked third in the state for having the most overdose fatalities, behind only Boston and Worcester. Those numbers have been on the decline.
We've never broken into the 50s. Right now, even though it's not finalized, because the ME reports take a while to come in, 2023 we're at 48 suspected fatalities. So that would be a significant decrease from what we've seen. Last year, the non-fatals were way down. We were always hovering around 1,000, and we ended up in the 600s last year for non-fatals. But the deaths have always kind of remained the same, between 62 and 70-ish. You know, so I'm really hoping that there's no surprises when the ME's report comes out.
We'll have more FRC Media News after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Bilingual Immigration Paralegal, Leiter Fogarty and Ribeiro PC, located at 101 Jeremiah V. Sullivan Drive, seeks a full-time bilingual immigration paralegal, responsible for preparing USCIS forms and collecting supporting legal documents. Job number 205-36010. Corporate Controls and Automation Manager, Blanc Fine Foods, located at 630 Current Road, is looking for a full-time corporate controls and automation manager to provide technical support and program management to all manufacturing operations. Job number 205-37345. Home Care Intake Specialist, Bristol Elder Services, located at 1 Father de Valles Boulevard, is seeking a part-time home care intake specialist, responsible for completing initial in-home consumer assessments, service planning, and coordination of care. Job number 205-35844. Delivery driver, Nassif Fruit Company, located at 538 Plymouth Avenue, is looking for a full-time delivery driver. For more information, call 508-672-4292. Bristol Community College, located at 777 Aylesbury Street, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. EDP Systems Analyst 1 for design programs. Job number 205-32890. Special Program Coordinator for grants programs. Job number 205-32942. For more information about these and other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. Fall River's unemployment rate for January spiked compared to December. The jobless rate sits at 6.4%, up from 5% in December. The city's unemployment rate in January of 2023 was 7.6%. Rates in city suburbs were also higher in January, as well as those in regional gateway cities. The Massachusetts unemployment rate in January fell 0.2% to 3%. On International Women's Day last Friday, local elected officials and members of social service agencies gathered at Government Center to condemn gender-based domestic and sexual violence and take the White Ribbon Campaign pledge. The White Ribbon Campaign began in Canada over 30 years ago, following the massacre of 1989 of 19 women at a school in Montreal. Fall River Mayor Paul Coogan, Bristol County District Attorney Tom Quinn, State Representative Carol Fiola joined members of those social service agencies in committing to never remaining silent in confronting sexual harassment, sexual assault, or domestic violence against others. District Attorney Quinn said he has had the difficult task of prosecuting dozens of domestic violence cases during his career.
It has lasting impacts primarily on women, their families, and society. Unfortunately, it is a recurring problem, but people working together to end it and contain it is what we are here to discuss and to focus on. It goes to the dignity of every human being. People cannot be treated like this. And again, the impacts, it's cyclical, it continues. Children are exposed to it, it goes to the next generation, and people are scarred for life. Our office will not let up in making this a priority, in prosecuting these cases, holding people accountable for the protection of the victim, their family, and society.
The Fall River Fire Department last week held a promotional ceremony celebrating the installation of 7 new officers and Chief Jeffrey Bacon. During remarks at the ceremony, the chief praised those promoted and the rank-and-file firefighters as being one of the best departments in the Commonwealth. The chief looks to define the department through its ability to learn, grow, and serve.
I've since found out that there are many ways to learn. Making mistakes, owning them, and learning from them has been a powerful experience in my career. I challenge every member of the Fall River Fire Department to be vulnerable enough to make mistakes, confident enough to own them, wise enough to learn from them, and strong enough to teach others about them so that we can all grow together as a department. I will be challenging senior firefighters to become mentors to the junior firefighters and senior officers to do the same for junior officers. I will challenge them to take less experienced firefighters into their confidence and talk to them about respect, responsibility, and tradition. Growth is not found in punishment. It's a product of coaching, mentoring, setting expectations, and following through. I challenge the members of this department to continue to be the best firefighters in the area, and I expect that not to change. But being excellent firefighters is the bare minimum of the service that we should be providing to the citizens of Fall River. We can't just be public servants when we are at work. The needs of the citizens of the city are far greater than that. We need to start asking what we can do for our citizens to make their lives better. Learn, grow, and serve.
We'll wrap up this edition of FRC Media News right after this.
Hi, welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today with us we have Batman. He is a 3-year-old male, domestic short hair. He came to us as a stray. I don't believe he was always an outdoor cat. I believe he just ended up slipping out somehow because he's very well socialized. He does like to play, but he doesn't get too wild. He's very gentle when he plays. He would do good with other cats. He's not confrontational. He would do fine in a house with children, I believe. So if you want to come down and meet Batman, you can call Forever Paws Animal Shelter to make an appointment. All of our contact information is also on our website at foreverpaws.com. I know Batman would love to meet you.
Today with me I have Esther, Deborah, and Sarai. They are a 13-week-old puppy and 2 14-week-old puppies from Puerto Rico. They are a rowdy bunch, and they are all available for adoption, looking for homes. This is Sarai. This is the youngest of the 3. She's 13 weeks old, a little bit shy, but still super sweet. I'm gonna need, basic obedience training, potty training, but definitely gonna make a great dog for anyone who applies. This is Deborah. Deborah is 14 weeks old. Definitely a little bit bigger than her other sisters, but that is okay. Gonna be a nice little dog for you. Last but not least, we have Esther. Esther is a 14-week-old shepherd, just like her sisters. And Esther has something pretty cool with her left eye called heterochromia. It pretty much just means she lacks pigment in her left eye. It is perfectly natural. She was born with it. She can see just fine out of that eye. It just means she's just kind of cool and different. So if you want to meet any of these puppies, go online and fill out an application at foreverpaws.com, and then come on down to Forever Paws at 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Mass, and meet any of them.
That's all for this edition of FRC Media News. Please visit our website, frmedia.org, for all the latest news and local information. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great weekend, a great St. Patrick's Day, and we'll see you next Thursday.